you ever speak to me like that again, better be wearing a cup.
Baby steps.
One break, I'm in
Okay, friends, let's everybody take your positions, please. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, rolling. Dave!
And
Dave!
Unchained.
welcome to Dave and Dave Unchained, a Van Halen podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Dave.
And we are at episode 46, Dave. We are in the Halloween haunting season.
Boo!
Do you have your costume for this year?
Yes, a overworked accountant.
Overworked accountant. That seems rather familiar.
Yeah, not a hard costume.
Exactly. Well, that's the costume you wear all year long. And
I'm never short of work.
That's
for
right.
sure.
That's right. Well, you're short in other areas.
Oh,
He started off early. Well, you know what? Before we get in any trouble, let's head over to Van Halen News.
Van Halen.
Oh my God, Dave, listen, I got some good news. We got some good news for once.
Lay it on me, brother.
Eddie is alive.
That is good news.
Well, we knew. I'm sorry, I'm joking around. Of course he's alive. We know he's alive, but we had some interesting reports over the course of the time that we last did our podcast and up to now. So we'll start off with the original report. So apparently, Eddie's been getting treatment. It's been reported that he's been traveling to Germany for treatment for throat cancer, which is not good news. But apparently, he's been doing this for 5 years to keep the disease in check. And there's a picture of Eddie that was released it was a mid-August picture. And he's looking sort of sickly. You know, his face is puffy and he doesn't look himself. He looks a little out of it. You know, that came out, and then there was a picture that Janie posted on Twitter of just a little Cody picture, and in the background, one of the readers on Facebook noted that he saw an IV pole that had a chemo infusion pump on it. And he said that he knew about the exact pole because it's the same one his mother-in-law had. So he let me know about that. He sent me the photos of it, too. And then that started getting out there. And then it's like, oh, no, Eddie's got this throat cancer. He's getting treatment. He's got chemo going. Like, everybody's like, oh, my God. But I started getting a little strange feeling because Janie was posting all these things about her at wrestling matches and all these different things. And I was like, how sick could Ed be if Janie's doing all these kind of frivolous things? You know what I mean? So that was a little odd. What did you make of that when you heard about that, Dave?
It was scary, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't like messing around with cancer.
No.
I mean, I really hadn't heard the chemo thing.
Okay.
That was only brought up by one person.
Right.
Although a lot of people did bring up the pole and that it was maybe an IV drip.
Right.
And, you know, so what was that all about? Did see that picture of Ed. I wouldn't say he looked out of it, but yeah, he definitely, you know, did not look the same.
Yeah, he looked sickly. He looked like sickly.
Well, he didn't look like he normally did, and his face did look puffy. And, look, I'm not a doctor, and I certainly don't play one on TV. But, you know, the good news is that picture was, I mean, he was up and around. I mean, he was outside.
Right.
You know, so, you know, it wasn't like, you know, it was some sneak picture of him, like, decrepitly wasting away inside somewhere. You know?
Right.
But still, when you hadn't seen a picture of Ed for a while, it's concerning.
Right.
But at least the guy was up and around.
That's true. That's true.
Right? I mean, so, you know, you gotta try and have a glass half full approach here.
That's true.
And as far as you know, what Janie's doing, you know, I hope Janie, you know, I hope Janie never meets you, because if she would probably take offense to you calling her stuff frivolous.
No, I'm not saying she's
but I would
frivolous.
say, right, but if he was on death's door,
right, you wouldn't be.
She would be with him,
right,
all the time, right? I mean, she wouldn't be out working and doing other things, and you know all the things she's doing, right?
Right.
So how bad could he really be?
Right. Well, I didn't mean like frivolous. I mean like fun stuff. She's out like you're doing fun stuff. Like typically when someone's very ill like that, like your husband or your wife, I mean, you're not like really tweeting about fun stuff. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. Yeah.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But, but to your point, like, even though there was that picture of Ed, I mean, he was out and about.
Yeah, so, he was. So now the good news is we get a photo of Ed 2 months after that, okay, from October 19th. A woman by the name of Susan Dion ran into Ed at the McLaren dealership in Beverly Hills, California, and she posted a picture of her hugging Ed and boasting that she got a kiss from him on Instagram, and Eddie looks like he's on the mend. He looks like Eddie. He looks a lot more like Eddie. I mean, granted, he's a mid-60s looking guy, and he looks like he's healing and prepping for what could be his next thing. He looks more like Ed. He looks like he's on the mend, and that is encouraging. And even more encouraging was that Wolfie went on both Instagram and Twitter, and he tweeted about his dad. He and Eddie went out to the Tool concert the other night, and he tweeted a picture of Eddie from behind taking a photo with someone's Apple iPhone of some guy giving the peace sign with the stage of Tool in the background. Now, Tool wasn't on stage. This was obviously probably before the show started. But the interesting thing was, Eddie's sitting like in the seats like everybody else. He's in no VIP section or anything, although his seat was good. This guy is asking Eddie to take a photo of him as if he's just some random guy. Like this guy has no idea that Eddie Van Halen's taking his photo. So this is what Wolf says. A guy asked my dad if he could take a picture of him with the stage behind him, having no idea who he just asked. That was my favorite moment of the Tool show last night. So I thought that was hysterical. That was, just a couple of days ago in October, I don't know, it was 21st, whatever. They played in L.A. Tool is out on the road after their new album and stuff like that. And apparently Wolfie is a big Tool fan. I am surprised if Ed is a big Tool fan. That doesn't seem like his style of music, but I know Wolfie's a big fan of Tool. What'd you make of that one, Dave?
That was hysterical. The guy had no idea who was taking his picture.
Yeah.
That was really funny. But it was good to see Ed out and about again.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if he's well enough to go to a Tool show and buy cars, that's very, very good sign.
Right. And, he's getting the goatee back. And,
right.
He's looking good. So all this is, encouraging.
Yes, this is all very encouraging.
Right. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were kind of like, ooh, what's going on?
Absolutely.
Now that Ed is out and about and taking pictures with people, I think that's alleviating a lot of concerns.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to see him out there. It's good to see that he's out and about and he's up and around, and it's not like, oh my God, where's Eddie Van Halen? I mean, we all know that he's at least hanging out with his son and he's doing fun things and all that stuff. But I have to tell you, this is Eddie did tweet at one point, okay, and we'll get to that later, and he tweeted about something we'll talk a little bit later, but nothing related to him, and we all know that, very often Eddie's tweets are not from Eddie, they're from Janie, I'm assuming, because she's his wife and also his publicist, so she's probably doing something. But I have a feeling, though, that something is going to happen next year with these guys. I think it's going to go back to the original plan, what we discussed about in March, when Mitch LaFon was dropping hints that Van Halen's going to come back, but it's not going to be what you think. And it almost matched Roth's comments, with Roth said, well, Van Halen's not going to come back in the configuration that or whatever like that. It's interesting because I really think that they're going to go out as a trio in supporting Wolf's album. I swear to God. We've talked about this before, but I think this is the original. I think they don't want to deal with singers. They don't want to deal with Mike or Sammy or Dave. They're going to go out and support Wolf's album because you know what? It would probably be a much lighter schedule. It would be a smaller thing, and I think it's something that he could do that's manageable without going full bore, and it would give Wolf the spotlight and kind of the Van Halen support that he needs to launch his career without going bananas. So I wouldn't be surprised if they launch some sort of tour with Wolf's album and they're doing theaters and it's just the three of them and they do his album and they do some covers. And I don't think they'll touch the Van Halen material, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie's on bass and Alex is on drums. And it's Wolf out front singing and playing guitar. What do you make of that?
I think you're onto something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, that would explain Roth's whole attitude where he's basically annoyed at Ed, almost borderline pissed.
Yeah, we're going to get to that next. That's that. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Okay. So David Lee Roth went on the Talkin' with Meltdown show at Detroit's rock station, which is WRIF. And he's been doing press left and right. And as Dave's doing more press, he's getting more bold with his comments.
He's getting a little more ornery.
He's getting saucy, this guy. So this one really was a little biting. Okay, so if you remember the last one, we talked about him being on a bunch of shows with Danny Bonaducci, and then he was on that podcast with Debbie, whatever her name was. And so this is really to the point. This is a quote from Roth. They asked him about the rumors about the Van Halen tour from the summer, and he says, that's been canceled a number of times, and I think Van Halen's finished, and this is the next phase, meaning his Vegas show. I've inherited the band de facto, whatever that means. I think it means if you inherit it, you carry this proudly. Van Halen isn't going to be coming back in the fashion you know. And that being said, Eddie's got his own story to tell. It's not mine to tell it. So that was pretty bold. He's making it pretty damn clear that the Van Halen brothers are moving forward without him. I really think that somehow he's angry because he's been waiting around for 4 years, and then Eddie goes, you know what? I think we're going to go back to our original plan, which is supporting Wolf's album, and I think that pissed Dave off to no end. What do you think?
Well, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, my guess is Ed's getting better.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do a full-fledged tour. Mm-hmm. We're all waiting for Wolf's album, so, why the heck are we still waiting?
Right.
Wolf wants to somehow tie in Van Halen or his dad in promoting it. So now that his dad's getting better, now maybe they'll do some kind of promotion for his album.
Right.
Maybe they do a mini tour.
Right.
Maybe they just do a live gig to promote the album or something.
Right.
But that would certainly explain why Wolf's solo album hasn't come out yet.
Yeah.
Like I said before, that would also explain Dave's annoyance. Because if Ed was really at death's door,
right,
I really don't think Dave would be rude enough to be like, I can't believe the lead guitarist waited 4 years.
Right.
And then he got cancer, and now he's going to die, and that really interfered with my plan.
No, he's not like
right?
that. He's not like that. And you know what? Even if he was a mean guy, that from a business standpoint, that would be stupid.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But either way, Dave's not that big of a jerk, or if he is that big of a jerk, which I don't think he is. But even if he was, he wouldn't be dumb enough to do that, to your point. So I think that Dave is annoyed that Ed said, you know what, Dave, I had something happen. I'm re-looking at things, and I'm sorry, man, but I'm just not doing another full Van Halen tour.
Yeah.
We're just not doing that. That's not in the cards.
Yeah.
You're free to do whatever you want. I'm sorry, man, but, I'm going to promote Wolf's album, and we'll figure out what to do with that.
Right, absolutely. And I really do think the plan was for Wolf to open up for Van Halen, and I think that plan was scrapped. And it's like, you know what, their attitude is, and you never know. When you have health scares, people have different perspectives. So maybe he's you know what, man, I just want to have fun. Play with my brother, play with my son. I don't want the pressures of dealing with Dave or the criticisms of Dave's voice sounds like this. They've done it in the sense, look, they've got back together with Dave.